And here is the Power BI desktop. I have introduced us to the Power BI desktop in the last class, right? I have introduced us to it in the last class, and right, all right, and then like I said, we have three areas, three important areas. Um, this left hand side where you can select your views. The center of it, which is the Canva. The Canva is an area where you will now design your dashboard, right? That's the Canva, and that's the center area. And we have the right hand area divided into two as well, three as well. Anyway, we have this filter to filter the same way it is. We have these visualizations where you can now pick, where you can pick the visual that you want to use, right? The visual that you want to use. And finally, you have this last area, we call it data pane. Pane as in P-A-N-E, data pane. Or some Power BI will bring it as field pane, as field. So the way you are saying data in some Power BI, you will say field, F-I-E-L-D, right? So in that regard, we call it the field pane, right? Now, once you have loaded your data and you are back to this Power BI desktop from the Power Query editor, right? Where you want to focus your attention at first, right, is to come to this area that we call the model view, right? Model view is where you now design something we call your semantic model. But it is much more important if we are dealing with multiple tables, right? Which is actually what we'll be dealing with when we get to the real activity of analyzing data. We'll surely be dealing with multiple tables. But for the sake of learning, this first example, the example number one that I want to deal with, just a single table, right? So we may not have so many things to do with the model view. So for now, I'm going to skip this. But then be rest assured that after this particular task, example, right? By the time I want to do the next one, we'll most likely come there. So after coming from the Power Query editor, the next place that I, advise that you go through is the model view, which is not very needed for this particular example. So after that, right? So the next thing is to look at your table and try to see what your table looks like, right? So you want to look at the table view, right? So let's justify that the table we cleaned in our Power Query editor is what comes to the Power BI desktop, right? Which obviously it is. But then let's look at it. Now we have cleaned the table, right? After we have taken some names away, we cleaned 45. So 45 is not there again. We look at the gender, we look at the department, and in the department we have some names that are null, right? In the gender also, remember that there are some gender that were empty, that were null, small letter N-U-L-L in italic, that we changed to order. All of them have been affected here. We work on the prices, the ones that have no salary, on the salaries, the ones that have no salaries, right? We take them away because that's the better way to clean that particular one, right? And then also we look at the dates, right? And we ensure that the data type are correct. So this is our table, right? I'm not going to discuss more here as for this example, right? By the time we get to more example, maybe on Thursday, then we'll see other things to do on this table. Now we are sure that our table is set, our data is well formatted, well cleaned from the Power Query editor. So where we actually want to work is the report view. So report view is where we would have to now design, right, the dashboard and see how it looks like. Now coming to the report view, right? One of the first area that you want to come to is the data pane, right? Here is data pane. And what you will see on the data pane is the list of all the tables that you have brought together, right? All the tables that you have brought together. For emphasis, please understand that you can bring your data from several sources. If you want to deal with four tables, for example, all the tables can come from several sources. Some can come from Excel, some can come from the SQL database, some can come from the Azure Analytics service, or every areas where you can pull out data from. You can pull out the tables from there, right? But then after you have pulled them out, all the tables will be listed here, right? And with the names of the table, right? But for this class, we just have a table, a single table that is called data. That's why we are saying data here. Data here is the name of the table that we want to analyze. And if you click this arrow to come down, right, you will see all the columns in that table listed there. And you can confirm that this is the columns we have in that table. We have the department, we have the gender, location, name, salary, and start date, right? No ambiguity for now. Let's keep to this simple table that we have, right? Just for the sake of explanation. By the time we are sorted with so many things that we want to do in this class, in the next class, we'll surely take a task that requires more attention than this. And then the understanding from this class will help us to connect better. Right. So now, designing the dashboard, like I said, dashboard is design, right? And when I say design, it means that your knowledge of designs will be in place because it's purely design. So how you want to make it look like, how you want to design has to do with combining colors, combining fonts, and how you want to arrange stuff on and all of that. So let's go straight to designing dashboard, and then every dashboard every analysis must always start with a heading. You must know what you want to do, so you will give it a heading. You understand? So, and to do that, don't forget we are doing all of that on this Canva, right? This is the Canva. Everything will be on this screen, and to do that, right? To do that, the first thing is to create my heading, right? And to create my heading, I'm going to pick my text box, right? I want to write the heading to say that because that data is more because I have department, I have gender. Please let's move our system. If you're not talking, please let's move our system. I want to be careful how I switch tabs on this system so that it doesn't hang again. So please, from my hand, let's help to mute our system from this. So that I don't need to switch here and there. All right. So this department, gender, location, salary. So is more of employee data, right? So I'm going to name this. I'm going to give this this dashboard. I'll call it employee analysis, right? Employee analysis, right? Or employee report. Yes, I'll call it employee report. And to write that, look at I'll pick this text box, right? Because I want to write that heading. I'll pick this text box. Text box is under the home tab. Then when you come to the home tab, locate the insert group, right? Maybe you want to jot you want to jot that in your jotter. To access your text box, come to the home tab and locate the insert group. On the insert group, you will see the text box. Click it, right? And the text box will show on your screen like this. You can see how it shows on your screen. So you can toggle the text box to change the size like that. You can draw it closer, you can make it wider, and then your text will be written at the middle of it, right? So now you can see I'm writing in between it, right? You can see that something is right in here. It's very small for now, but we can make it bigger. But then for now, I'm going to call it employee report, right? Employee report analysis, right? Analysis, employee report analysis. Just to show that you are the one doing it, right? Write employee report analysis by, write your name, right? I'm going to write by Olamide. Make it bigger because it's too small, right? I will make it bigger. You can see here I'm going to increase the font size. and I have, okay, I'm good with 24. I want to change the font, right? You can pick any font of your choice, right? I pick this Cambria Max. This is strictly choice, right? This is choice, and then I'll make it bold, right? There will be other things to do to it later, but for now, I'm going to stop this way. I can change the text color also. For now, let's make it black. At the end of the day, I am, by the time I am designing better, that I'm selecting color, I will know what to come back to name this, to color this font. But for now, let's hold it this way. So let me make it bigger. Now, just to make it align to the center, something like justification, if you are using Microsoft Word to justify it to the center, I bring the icon on it here, like this, to the end, like that, right? To the end, and I press enter so that it comes to the middle, right? And at the same time, I still shade it, right? And then look at justification here. I pick it to center so that it stays at the center, right? And then don't forget, this is dashboard design. It is purely design, and your design is your own design, right? If you are okay with it, that's how it's going to be, right? So I have written my heading for now, and I have it in this way. I use the text box, right, to do that. Now, another thing here is that uh, take for instance that you are handling this project for an organization, right? As a gig, as a freelance, right? Um, you are making this analysis for maybe somebody who is a data analyst in the organization. You just need to assist him, or you take this as a gig from the job portals that we have, freelancers.com, um, all these sites where people release this job and you do for them. So you want to put their logo, right? Report will always have a logo. If I'm doing this for my organization, for my company, I'm going to put the company of my logo to show that I own it, right? Or if I'm doing this for MTN, for example, it means I'll look for MTN logo and put into it, right? So I want to put a logo to this dashboard, and it means that I will have to import picture. I will have to bring picture from my system or from the web or from anywhere and place it here, right? And to do that, I'll still come to insert, right? Still under home tab, insert. But this time around, I'm not going to pick the text box. I will come to more visuals. No, not more visuals. Um, New visuals, no. Okay, come to insert tab. So it's not under it. So insert tab. So when you come to the insert tab, you will see, okay, right, you can see images here. Under insert tab, you see images here. Of course, your text box is not there, right? So I'll pick the image, right? And to the system that where just to use for the sake of this class. If you don't have a logo that you can use, you can just go online and download any logo just for the sake of this class, right? I'm going to pick a logo. I'm going to pick a logo here. The logo. I think I have the logo somewhere here. Right. I'm going to pick this logo. There. I'll bring it into it, and my logo will come in, and I can adjust it with the size I want it to be, right? So this is purely if we are designing. It's not advisable to reduce the size or increase the size of your logo from this area, right? It will not fit in. So if you want to reduce the size, come to any area in the that should be vertex, right? On the vertices, right? And then is a vertex or edge, right? And drag it from there, right? Everything will reduce equally. If I've done this, for example, if I reduce it this way, look at this, you can see that it will leave this kind of spaces here, right? And then it's going to affect how my design looks like, right? So should do it from that edge, right? and reduce everything will reduce uniformly, right? And you can bring it here. You know, I'm dragging it, right? You're using a mouse, click on it and drag on the mouse, right? And then it's going to be somewhere here. That's what I want to put it, right? Let me make it bigger a bit, right? All right. And then here is my employee report analysis. Here's my heading. I can come back to bring my heading, you know, to have almost the same size as this, right? Bring it somewhere here. Maybe make this one closer to it. So from this now, it's almost certain that I'm using blue color because I have blue color, right? So I'm gonna make this be the my Pantone guide. Don't forget, design has to do with color. This is design, right? And what makes design look more acceptable is the combination of color, um, your text, and some other, and your images and all of that, right? I'm sure people that were in the graphic design class would have understood this better. All right. So I've created my heading, and I have done I've brought in my logo into it. Now I want to start analyzing it. I want to start drawing, designing my dashboard. Now recall in our Excel class that I advised my own way, right? In analyzing, in drawing dashboard, that I always like to draw something like a blueprint in my own Jota, and that blueprint will guide me, right? Old A, right? In the Power BI. So in my Jota, I would have drawn it how I want that particular how I want my visuals to be arranged on it. I'm just going to follow suit, right? So I'm bringing that to our remembrance again so that we can deem it fit to, you know, is if you have done it that way, it will make our work more faster because we already have an idea of what we want to do, right? But for the sake of learning, let's just do it at a go because we are not in a physical class and I can't show you my blueprint. So you just follow me. Now, let's go ahead to begin to analyze our data. Usually, before now, you would have known what you want to, the insight you want to draw from the data, right? But at general, let's just pick some general insights. This is our columns. We have salary. So with this analysis, we can know what is the total salary paid, you know, the total salary paid to this employee in this organization, right? To all these employees in this organization. So I'm going to change it from employee report. Let me call it HR report. I think that looks more like it, right? All right. HR report analysis, right? I think I should keep it that way. All right. So I want to know the total salary paid in that organization, right? And then I'm going to seize the same opportunity to explain how to use um how to use to explain how to select your visuals, right? Which I'd always wanted to do, but the time has not permitted. Now, if you look at what I want to get in this particular insight, I want to get it that represents every information in that column. Salary is a column, right? Salary is a column, and then I want so I want to see all the I want to see the total sum of salary paid. So that is the single value that is going to represent all the rows in that column. So when you want to use a single value to represent multiple rows like that, one of the visuals, right, that is very good to use is called the card visual, right? And in the Excel class, when we're drawing dashboard in the Excel class, I told us how to design the dashboard because how to design the card visuals because card visuals is not among the visuals you have in Excel. But in Power BI, CAD visual is here. These are all the visuals that are available, right? And CAD visual is here, right? So to know the total salary paid is simple, no stress. Just click the column, which is salary in this case, the column to which you want to analyze. Once we click it, you will see that something is happening on the report on the Canva, right? On the report Canva. Then you come to the visuals and select the visual that you want to use. And because we want to use the CAD visual, here is the CAD visual here, right? I'm just going to select the CAD visual, right? And look at it. It has done to me sum of salary. As simple as that. What did I do? I selected the salary, the column that I want to, I want to get my insights from. Then I pick the visual that I want to use, and I have it. So it means that in this organization, if I make it bigger, I'll see it bigger. So in this organization, the total salary paid every month, to the staff is 73.91 million. And I'm just seeing it like that on the card, right? Now, that is that. Let's stay there for now, right? Let's stay there for now. The next thing of course after this is to design that card itself. But let's leave that and do other things. Then we can now design all of them together. Designing it is called. At the moment, I pick my visualization, my visuals here, and that means it's under add data to your visual. Right under the visualization pane, we have 3 elements there. We have this first one, and that is where my visual is. You can see this arrow pointing to this area, right? I have this other area that this is the area where I will now design. I can now design this visual, right? That I've created. And we have this other area. This area is called format your visual, right? And we have this other area, which is an area where you can further analyze that visual. Pay attention on that visual, right? But for now, let's return to this, and we have drawn a visual, right? Sum of salary. Now, the next thing I want to do now is to also see, this is gender. How many gender are there is in question. Right? Somebody just asked me which Excel file am I using, in this class. It is a data sample, right? I've shared it with us. The data sample, the same data that we used to explain Power Query Editor, how to clean the data. That's the same data we are using. All right, thank you. So now I want to see how many gender, how many gender do we have in the organization, so that we can see that these are the number of genders that we have, right? Literally, we should believe that they are just 2 gender, right? But then let's see if it is just 2 gender. To know the number of gender, before I leave there, right? This is sum of salary, right? I can as well change this thing from giving me the sum of salary, right? If I come to this area, if I select this visual where I'm working, if you come down to this field under this visualization where you can select your visual, you come down a bit, you will see an area, this first area where you can do several things here. If I double click on this, right, you will see that it is editable. So I can come here and say, I don't want to call it, I don't want sum of salary to show here. So you can rename it to what you want to have there. So I can decide to call it total salary instead of sum of salaries. Total salaries or total salary, right? And if I say enter, look at this place, it has been changed to total salary, right? This can be done in other places that I'm going to show us. Now, at the same time, if I click this drop down, there are several other things that you can do from there. Now, what I have done so far is the sum. It's giving me the sum, right? I can also decide to show the average salary, right? Unlike if I'm doing Excel, I have to use the average function to do all of that. But in Power BI, right, once I've just checked it, I'm using the CAD visuals. If I just pick average, right, for example, you look at this place, the figure has changed, right? Now, something that was 79 I think 73.91 million before has become 73.76 thousand. K is thousand, right? Means that the average salary is that. Now what it means is that it is because I have changed this what I mean the text here. That's why this is not changing, right? Ordinarily, if I didn't change it to have what is there by default, it would have changed to average salary. But because I've come to write in there what I want to show, that's why it is not changing. But then what I want to have at the end of the day is the sum. You can do all that and you can decide what is the maximum salary that is paid out, what is the minimum salary that is paid out. You can also do count, you can do variance and all that one. There are some other things that you can do also from here, right? But then I want to stay with sum, right? And I'm going to leave it on sum, right? So that is for that particular visual. The next thing I want to do that I was talking about is to know how many gender, right, are in this analysis, right? So I'm going to select gender. I'm still using the card visual, right? I'm going to select gender. Of course, card visual because I'm showing one thing. I'm showing just one single figure out of all, right? Now, I'm going to come back. I've checked the gender, the column, and I'm going to look for the visual that I want to use, and I'm picking the card visual. And you can see here that it is writing female, right? But what I want to see is the number of gender, right? I'm seeing female, so there's no issue. I'll just come under this field, right? Pick up this drop down and look at it. If you look at this place, it is showing me that okay, I am first is selected. That is first name, right? The first gender rather is what it should show, and on that table, in that column, the first gender that is there is female. That's why it's showing female. But what I want to see is count. I want it to count the gender for me, right? So either I pick count distinct or count. Either of the two will work perfect. But then I'm going to use count distinct, right? And you can see that I have it's telling me that there are three genders in that analysis. In that column, there are three genders there, right? And if you remember, when we were formatting that data, we had we had male, we had female, and we had another area that is empty, that is called null. We now change that. We use replace value to change the null to others to say that oh, there are some other people that have other gender that is different from male and female, and that's the reason why we have three genders in there, right? And you can see that the analysis is correct. That in this analysis I want to do, or in that organization, there are three genders in there. So somebody picking this report can see at first sight that oh, in this company, no, this company is not only open to male and female, right? There's some other gender that it is open to, right? So if I need to change this count of gender, I can come in there, double click on this, and this area will be editable, and then I can put it what I want to call it. Maybe I want to call it gender count. It's still the same thing anyway, but I just want to show us that it is changeable, right? Gender count, right? And then if I say enter, it has changed to gender count, right? I can bring that also, right? And then just let's keep it there. Don't forget, dashboard is about design, right? But then you need to know what you are designing. So the next thing I want to do also, I want to see how many people are in that organization, right? How many people are in that organization? So in this dashboard, I want people to log on to the dashboard and be able to see at first sight the number of people in our organization. So this is the name column, right? So I can tell I can design, I can bring to the dashboard that a count of those names, right? A count of those names. And to do that, I'm still going to use, I'll still use the card visual to say, okay, check the names, right? Sorry. Before you pick another one, please ensure that none of this existing visuals is selected. So select the empty pane, right? And then pick the name, right? Okay. I'm still trying to check it, right? All right. All right. All right. So I check the name and I pick the card visual. Right. Now, please also, you should also understand that you can do it either way. It's either you check the name first or you check the column first before checking the visual you want to use, or you check the visual first before checking the name and the column that you want to use. There's no issue with that, right? And once when I did that, you can see that what I'm seeing on my card is showing only the name, but I want to count it. So don't forget how we did the other one. We can come back to this place and then it's on first name. That's why it's showing the first name, right? I'm going to take it to count these things. And it's already showing me that that employee, that column has 926 name. So my report now, right? My insight now uh is going to be showing for 926 employee, right? And if I want to change this stuff here, count of name, I can come here to change it and to call it, maybe I want to call it number of employee, right? Number of employee, and I'll be good with that, right? Number of employee, and I'll be good with that. So these are all what card visual is showing me. Now also, why am I using card visual, right? Now, in every designing of dashboard, please, I'm stating this from experience. To have your card visual is very important, right? Right, it's very important. I'm not saying there is a policy, that states that must be done, right? I am saying that from experience, right? It is from experience, it is advisable that we use card visual to show some important figures that people may want to quickly see. You understand? People may want to quickly see from your report, right? That's the essence of having this card visual, right? So I've shown three things that we can see from the card visual. The next one I want to use the card visual to also show is that how many departments do we have in that organization? How many departments do we have in that organization, right? So which means that my concern here is this department column, and I'm going to check it, right? Yes, I've checked it, and I'm going to use my card visual as well, right? My card visual is responding, is loading, right? Okay, all right. So the same way, you can see that it's showing me the first name. So I'm going to I'll come here and pick so that it doesn't return. All right, I'm picking count distinct because I don't want it to return to count two departments as one. If you have counted it once, that should be the only count, right? If I do counts, if I do count, for example, right, you can see that it's showing me that we have what the number of departments is 102, right? And that is not true. That is showing this because if in the first row the person is in the accounting department, and the second row the person is also in the accounting department, is going to count them one by one to say the first one is 1, the second one is 2, and that is not what I want. So we need to understand how to apply this count and count these things, right? Count these things is just going to lead, once that counted accounting one, it won't count a second accounting. It will look for a new name, right, to count. So that is why I'm using the count distance. And we can see that we have 13 departments in that organization, right? We have 13 departments in that organization. And then I want to keep the name to be department only, right? So that it is not too long. So what else? Gender, department, start date. Okay, let's keep it this. So I've brought out um 4 visuals from this. Now, just before we go to the next thing, what I want to show you now is how to format this visual, right? So starting from this very first one, I told you that the visual must be designed to look good, right? I think someone wants to join the class. Let me quickly return that.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
I can't see your screen again. No. Am I the only one?
All right. Please, can you see my screen?
I can't see the
Okay,
screen
so
also. I can't see it too.
for how long?
Just for like 3 minutes or so now.
Wow.
Like 2-3 minutes now.
All right. Thank you for calling the attention. Please confirm if you can see it now.
I think it's loading, but has not shown yet.
That is so. Yeah.
Okay, shown now.
Okay, it's showing now. It's showing now.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Okay, showing now. Showing now.
Great. So now let's see how to design this. I mean, to make it look good. This card visual, right? So you pick them one after the other. This is the first one we did, right? I have picked it, and once you pick it, like I said earlier, you select your visual here, right? You select. I think somebody wants to say, Mr. DMO. Mr. DMO is trying to ask the question. Please ask the question. All right, nobody's talking. All right, that's fine. Let's go ahead. So to format it, we come to this second icon at the middle, this button at the middle that states format your visual. And once you click it, right, it will bring you to this area. Now, we need to understand these two segments that we have under it, right? What you have here, right, is not the same thing for all the visual, right? This is particular for the card visual. If I'm picking another visual now, what I will have here, the arrangement of text, I mean, the buttons I will have here will be different. But this area is particular to the card visual. So it has two areas. We have the visual, the general visual, that is, you want to format what you can see, the visuals, right? Then you have another button, another area that is called general, other things that you want to do. Now, under the visual, there are two things you can see, right? We have the call out value and we have the category label. Call out value is this number that you are seeing. You know, it's card, and card basically will show the value of what you are trying to do. Summarize together, right? Now, the call out value is this number. The category label is the description of that number, which is written below here. So these are category labels. This is call out value. This is category label. This is category label. This is call out value, and like that, right? So let's format the call out value, right? And I have it. So what are the formats that we can do on it? We can change the font, right? And then we can change the font, and I've been using Cambria Math, right? Now, this is principle of design generally. This is principle of design generally when you are designing, whether correct draw, whether graphic design, and all of that. So one of the things that you want to ensure is that you do not have too many types of text just competing with each other, right? What you want to ensure when designing is you want to create something that when people look at it, right, they want to stay looking at it. You understand? They want to keep looking at it. But then if there are several things that is competing with the eye, that this one is calling attention, this one is calling the attention, this one is calling attention, at the end of the day, right, they will not pick anything from what you are presenting on that screen. You understand? So intentionally in design, we intentionally select some color that makes some things be some things silent. You understand? We do something that they will be silent, and we do the key caption that we want to we want to make pronounced. You understand? We do it in a way that when people look at that screen, that's the first thing that will call their attention. These are the things that we learn in designing, right? In doing any kind of design. So that's why you see that in any flyer, there will always be a big thing that people, when they collect that flyer or when they look at that banner, that will first of all call their attention to say, oh, we are doing maybe Youth Sunday, you understand, or Sports Sunday, you understand, or Justice Sunday, that's a common word, or Justice Sunday. So when they pick up that flyer, they will first of all see Justice Sunday. Every other thing that are around that information will be silent or hidden, or the choice of color before that time can be very deep, so that text will be lighter and it can call your attention. These are designing, and this will still be ensured in this place. So this number is what we want to keep pronouncing, right? So we are going to make sure that it's in a very good text, right? And also the size is not too competing, and the size is in a very convenient position also. So but then for this, because of in my mind, I know what I want to achieve, right? So I'm going to reduce the size to maybe 35, right? And then the font, I'm going to keep it bold so that it's bold. I want people to see it easily, right? Then the color, I don't know about the color yet, but then let me pause this for now and come to general so that I can choose a color. So the color of that this background, right? I can do that on the color on this general. So I'll return to that visuals to work on that visuals. So what color do I want to use? To adjust the color, we'll come to effect, right? If I come to this effect, then we can see colors, right? So I want that background color to be this blue because I've been using this blue, right? This because I'm using this logo, right? I'm going to try to look for that blue, right? Can I see the blue here? That's not the blue, right? So I'll keep searching for it, right? I'll keep searching for it. Do I have something that looks like it also? Right, that blue is different. Okay, I'll keep searching for it, right? Now, I don't think I can easily pick it here, right? Another thing I can do is to come to this more color, right? If I come to this more color, it will give me to a color, mix, the color mix area, right? And this number is very important. I'm going to talk about it later, maybe in the next task. It will help you to be specific about the color you want to use. But then let me just try to trace this my color out, right? Maybe it will be somewhere here, right? Maybe this looks like it. Maybe this looks like it. Okay. I can drag it to where I think. Okay. So that I don't take our time. Let me just keep it here and say okay. So I'm going to pick this color, right? That's the color that I want to use, even though it's not totally looking like it, but for just to move on, right? Now I can now return to my visual, right? And then the color, the call out value color, the color of this value now, I can change it. It means that black cannot stay here again because there is a dark background. So a dark color will not be pronounced A. So common sense will now tell me that, or my not common sense, my sense of design will now tell me that maybe I want to change that color, right? If I choose white here now, white can be fine, right? But then let me see if I can pick something like this gold that is on my logo, right? So I can come here and come and look for something that looks like gold. Maybe this is good, yes. So I can keep to this, right? And then maybe I can now adjust this one. That is call out value. I have adjusted the call out value, right? Let me look at let's look at the call out. Let me collapse this and look at the category label also. Category label is hidden here. The color is I'm not even seeing anything there again. So it needs to be formatted, right? I'm going to okay, my system is loading. Please give some minutes so that it doesn't misbehave again. All right, we are back. So yes, so for the call out value, right? Let me pick my fonts. I've been using Cambria Math, right? I don't like to use too many fonts. This is particular about me anyway. So I'm
You
going
can't
to.
see again.
You can't see again. Thank you. Let me reshare. All right, I've shared. Please confirm that you can see.
Yes, now.
You can see now.
Better now.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. All right, so now I'm on the color value, right? So I have made the font the Cambria matte, right? Let's make the color to something. Let me use white in this case, right? So I can see the color value. Maybe it's too small, so I can increase it, right? So let me make it okay. Total salary, maybe 17, 18, right? It's fine. Total salary, or let's just go to 20, right? Since we are not doing so many things today, so we have enough space. So don't let us just manage unnecessarily. So now I think we have a good, we have a good, a good, we have a good, what do you call it, card now? We have a good card, right? Even though our color is still somehow different. So I can place it where I want to place it. So let's say I want to place it here, right? But then I'm going to do something before then, right? I want to do something so that don't forget it's designing. So I can still come here to come and pick under insert tab and come and pick a shape, right? Let me pick a shape and put the shape. Let me pick a rectangle shape and bring it here, right? I have a rectangle shape here. This is design, don't forget. So I'm just going to do it the way I think is okay, right? So I have a shape here like this, where I want to place, right? So I can bring my what do you call it? I can bring the visuals on it, right? I'm on view. Let me see what I can do. Yeah. All right. So that shape, I can format that shape as well. Of course, the shape is what I pick. I can come here to format it, right? And then make the effect. All right. And bring the effect, the color of that shape. I want to make the color of that shape I want to take it away from blue, right? This is shape, rotation, shape, file. Yes, so let me take it away from blue and make it this kind of blue that we are using, right? So let me keep it to this blue. Now, because I'm doing this now, I want to keep this particular card visual inside it. I want to keep it inside it so I can come here. And what that means is that I may need to change the color of that card, right? So I'll come back here and I will come back to effect and then maybe change the color to something like this. Yes. Please mute your system, mute so that we don't compete too much. All right. Back to the colored value. Maybe now I can make my colored value because color is changing now. I can make my colored value be black. I think black will be fine now, right? And then maybe keep that the way it is, right? All right. Is I'm still with you? All right. So now I have formatted this. I'm staying with what I have here, right? So I'm supposed to format every other one the same way, right? But there is a way I'm doing it. If it is the same visual, right? If you have formatted one, we can bring everything we have designed on the first one to affect the other visuals, provided we are using the same visual. They are all card visual. So I can come to this one that I've formatted already and come to this format painter, right? Once I click this format painter, you can see that it looks like brush. So once I pick it, it will pick every information here, the color and everything, and I can come and drop it on the one that I have here, right? And you can see that it has changed to it, right? I can do the same thing, pick format painter and do it on this, right? The same thing. It will adjust the color, it will adjust the font size of the colored value, and it will adjust the size of the colored value and of the category label. Right, Mr. Adeyemo, please ask a question.
Yeah, see, I can't see your system. I can't see your screen.
Please, is is it from the every other person? Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen.
All right.
see it.
No, I can't see it.
Maybe you want to check your side again.
Okay.
Mr. DMO, please. Maybe you want to check your area again.
All right, now I can
All
see
right.
it. I can see it now.
All right. Thank you. So I'm going to do the same thing for this. I'm just going to drop it there, and then I have the period of depth. So the next thing I'm just going to do here, when you use format painter, it will only paint the colors. It won't change the size. So I will still want to make it be on the same size as the other, right? On the same size as the other, right? Now there is one other thing that I'm trying to adjust here, and that is talking about justification, right? Let me see if that can easily do more visual, refresh, present soft, no, insert, buttons, blah, 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 modeling, blah, 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 okay, view, page view, no, not agree, lock objects, filter selection, manage the user layering order. Yes, layering order, right? Okay, yes. So now one of the things that you are seeing from here is that the shape I brought in here is covering this particular card here, right? Yes, and that is because I pick the card first before picking the shape. So the one that come recently will always come at the top. But I want to change this. I don't want that to happen, right? I want to return, even though I pick the shape, this particular shape, even though I pick it later, I want the I want my card to be at the top of it. So it means that I have to do something we call layering order. That is, you go to the back, you come to the front, stuff like that. And to do that, to achieve that, you come to the view tab, right? Let me return to the home tab so that we can return to how it was. So you come to the view tab, then on the view tab, you will see this show panes group, and you will see selection. So once you click selection, it will bring you to this area, right? Where you can now look at the lowering order. So on the lowering order, you will see that everything that I've created for now are cards. I've created shape. This is shape, right? I've created cards, right? I've created images, right? Images is the first thing I created was text box. That's why I have it at the I have it under text box, right? That is where I put my heading. Then afterwards, I brought in image, which is my logo. Then I created all these 4 cards. Then lastly, I have this shape, right? So I want my card to be at the top. I want the shape to be maybe somewhere here. I can drag it and bring it here and put it somewhere here, right? Now my shape is here. Now you can see that automatically, if I return to this, sorry, my system is loading again. I'm sure you can't see my screen again, right? Can you see my screen?
Yes,
No,
I
sir.
can't see your screen. I can't see your screen.
No,
It's not
it
showing.
has gone.
All right, so let's just keep running it the way it comes, right? All right, confirm if you can see it now.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
So you can see now that my card visual are now at the top. So I can come here and come and pick these ones and place this there as well. So I want to be, this is design. You must be very intentional about your shapes, the size, and everything. So I want all the cards to have the same size, right? I want all the cards to have the same size. So I will intentionally go and measure it with the other ones and ensure that they are the same thing, right? Right. So I can make it bigger like this, right? All right. So this is the third one. right? I can bring it here and then ensure that they have the same size, right? So let me drag this upward, and then so that I maintain the same spaces between them. All right, and finally, right. So these are my cards, right? So this card is with this card I have shown 4 important information. When anybody comes to this, open this report, is already seen at first sight that, oh, in this report the total salary paid out is 73.9 million. There are this number of employees in the organization. There are 13 departments in the organization, and there are 3 gender, right? That works in the organization. That information is clear already, right? So I can go ahead to do all the analysis. Now I want to see um um the let's look at the gender distribution, the salary, I mean the number of staff in each department. You understand? We want to see the number of employee in each department. That is, we have 13 departments. So let's list all the 13 departments and have the number of employee, right? And that analysis will be employee by that is department by number of employee, right? And then to do that, what am I going to use? What visual can I use here, right? A quick visual, because what I want to see is just to show. I want to have on that report. I want to be able to see the department and then the staff. I mean, the department and the number of people in that department, right? So to achieve this, a good visual to use in the case of this is just purely a table visual, right? A table is an arrangement of information in rows and columns, the same way we have it on Excel, right? So there is a particular visual called the table visual, and we have it in Power BI, right? And we want to show 2 information: the department, right? Which I'm coming here to check the department, and then the number of people in that department. But there's nothing to show the number of people, but I'm going to use the name, right? The name of the people in that department to show it, right? I will check the name as well. And now you can see that I have, if you look at this place, by default, it has given me a table view. You can see, and you can see that here it is on table. So this is the table visual, right? So I've selected the table visual, and that's why I'm having this. Now, I can bring this information, this visual, in a focus mode. That is, I want to make it bigger, right? And to do that, look at this icon here. It's called focus mode, right? If I click it, it's going to, zoom that information and give me what is there. So I'm seeing all the departments and I'm seeing the name of the people in that department. But what I want to achieve is we need to understand this area. Please mute your mic if you are not talking, right? I'm the only one that is talking at the moment. Now, what I want to achieve is to have. Let me see if I can mute everybody, please. All right. So, what I want to achieve is to have the name of the department here, right? And the number of people in that department in here, right? And to achieve that, I have done the first thing to select the department and to select, the name of the people in that department. But then for this name, I'm not interested in seeing their name. I want to see the number, right? So I can come to this area. If you come, remember how we did it when we were on under card visual. If you come under this name, I can come and pick this column and pick count, right? Now, if I pick count, now you can see that it is now counting the name for me. It is not giving me the name. And here I can now see, it has counted for that. For example, accounting, it has counted the people in accounting. Business development department, we have 70 in accounting, 84 people in business development, 81 in engineering, 83 in human resources. And in all, we have a total of 102 persons in that organization, right? All right, so I can return it from the focus mode back to report, right? And it will return to this area, and then I can make it be how I want it to be. So I can drag it anywhere I want to put it. Right. All right, I can drag it where I want to put it, right? I really don't know where to put it for now, but then let's say I put it here. Let's say I put it here, and then let me just keep it here for now, right? Now, obviously, I will still have to format this, but then let's do other things, right? So we can now pay more attention to formatting it later. So I have seen the department by the number of people in that department. But one of the things that will call my attention is that this number is showing count of name. I don't want to have count of name there. So let me return there and change the description. And then I can have come here and call it maybe counts, maybe just counts, right? So I have departments, and I have counts. Okay, that is more presenting, right? So let's stay on that for that table visual. Now the next analysis that I want to show is that maybe now I want to see department by, I've seen department. Okay, let's see department by gender, right? That is, in each department, maybe department by gender is not fine for now, but let's see salary by department, right? So salary by department will show us how many, which department, which department do we pay more salary into? Do you understand it now? Salary by department. So I want to see the total salary that each department takes from us. We have seen already that in that organization we pay a total of 73.9 million naira every month as salary. You understand? But out of that total amount, we have 13 departments. Which of the departments, do we pay more? You understand? That is department by salary. And to achieve that, the first thing is to make sure you select the empty pane, so that you are not on any existing visual. Now, I haven't done that. Come and select the department, right? Select the department. This
Can't see the screen again.
You can't see the screen again. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Please, anytime the screen goes off, please call my attention so that I don't go too far before doing the needful. All right, thank you, Mr. Godwin. Screenshot. Okay. All right, confirm if you can see it now.
Not yet, too. Not yet, sir. Not seeing it.
All right.
I can't see your screen.
So
All right,
it's better now. It's back. It's back now.
Yeah.
Back. Please confirm every
can
other
see it
person.
now.
Is it back?
Yes, it's on.
All right,
I can
thank
see
you.
your screen.
So, all right. So we want to do department by salary. So I just do department, right? Does not want to click. So let me. Department by salary. So just bear with me. I'm trying to click. My screen is not clicking. All right. So we're going to click this. All right. I have clicked. Then salary. Yes. Now you can see that by default it is showing me a table visual row, but then that's not what I want to use. So usually, in so many cases, Power BI is always on table visual. So after you have selected your columns, you now go ahead to pick the visuals that you want to use for them. But then now, let's understand what we want to do. We want to compare department by salary, right? And I want to decide what visual am I supposed to use here, right? Now, how many departments do we have? We have about 13 departments, right? And we are going to be seeing, we want to see which one gets the more salary, which one gets the lower salary, and all of that. So I think one of a good visual to use here is either of the bar chart or column chart, right? Bar chart or column chart, right? And that is because it's going to show us in form of a bar. We can see which one is more longer, which one is less longer, and all of that, right? So I'm going to change this to a bar chart for a column chart, right? Of course, we have several types of column chart, but then just pick this one that you're seeing here, right? I may still need to create time to explain, to talk about how to pick the charts, right? But then let's just pick this for now. And then I have this column chart, right? And you can see from this column chart, what department earn the more, right? It lists all the departments for us. You can see all the departments that are available in that organization. Let me bring it up here, right? Product management department, and if you over your mouse on it, or we can go to the focus mode so that we can see it better, right? Product management department, right? Service department. So we pay more salary at the end of every month. We pay more salary to the product management department, followed by maybe service department, and then it has arranged them in that order, right? And that is that about that. Okay, next to see also is to have we pick all the visuals that we want to have, right? We pick all the analysis that you want to have. So let's look at sorry, let me go to the table visual again to see how the table looks like so that I can decide what insight to bring out. All right, start date. All right, so let's see the number of employee, right? I mean, how we are employing people per year, right? How we are employing people so that we can use the date also, right? So how we are employing people. So this time around, I want to see how we employ our staff, maybe per day, per month, and all of that, right? So I can come here to pick. Um, this is what represents the employee, right? And then I want to look at the dates. I mean, maybe by month. How many do we have in January? How many do we have in February, and all of that, right? So I can come here to pick. I want to do it per month. So what that means is that I'm going to use the dates and the date column, and the date column has four parameters hidden in it. We have the day, we have the month, we have the quarter, and we have the year, right? Obviously, we can also bring out the week from it, but then there are more other things to do to bring out the week from it, right? Which we'll cover in the next class. It's called DAX, right? There's something we call DAX. We'll get to that. But for now, if you look at the dates, right, and go to the hierarchy, you will see everything that we have under the date. For now, we have the day, month, and quarter, and year. So now that I want to look at the number of employees we take into our organization per month, right? Don't forget that I want to check it per month, right? So I'm going to check months, and then I'm going to see that it's showing me on the table, but then I want to see it. Now, this usually when you are comparing anything, any parameter per time, in analysis, it's called time series. You understand? That is, you are comparing it per time. And when you are doing anything that has to do with time series, it's always advisable. It's always advisable to use the visual. Either we use a an area chart or a line chart. You understand? Area chart or a line chart. And the reason is simple. Except for quarter, because quarter in a year, there are just 4 quarters. So the reason why we use it is because line chart can stretch to any length. A line can stretch to any length, right? A line can stretch to any length, so which make it be able to cover for something that is long. For example, in a year, we have 365 days. So if we are trying to analyze what happened per day, you will understand that if I picked, look at this very chart that I have here, this column chart that I have here. If what we are doing is on today, where we have 365 days, and I'm picking a column chart, it means that we have this bar, in 365 places. So a column chart is not always perfect to analyze something like that, because at the end of the day, I will not be able to see everything. It will just summarize, some information for me, and they give me a bar where I can scroll. Yeah, so I can capture every information. You understand? So in that case, when you have a long parameter to deal with, like that number of that scenario where we have 365 days, so we advise that I use a line chart, right? So if I pick a line chart is long and it is stretchy, so it can cover a long parameter. So if I pick this month and the name, don't forget that month has 12, a year has 12 months, which is already long. You understand? Which is already long, even though it's not long enough, right? But then just use the case of a day. I mean, the day case to look at it. Or you're analyzing data that covers maybe 100 years. You understand? You're analyzing data that covers 100 years. So, and you want to group them, you want to leave them in years, right? So in that case, you have to use the year. And you have 100 years, which is 100 parameter, right? So in that case, of course, the line chart will be a very area to go to. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to select a line chart here, right? This is a line chart here, right? And if I select the line chart, it's going to give me that information online. Is loading. So let's just wait for it to load and let me have what it will give at the end of the day, right? All right. Oh, sorry, it is unable to load now because I don't have a name. I'm showing name and month. None of it is showing numbers, right? So what I will do is to come to this name and change that name to where is it? This is the name column. I want to see a count of name, right? A count of name, right? Let me return this first. Let me return this start date. I'm trying to uncheck it. Okay, let me uncheck from the month. This bear with my system is loading again. I know by now you're not seeing my screen again.
Yes.
All right, so let me share it again. All right, please confirm if you can see my screen. Please confirm. I want to know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
You can see, sir.
All right, thank you. So all right, so let me come back to pick. What are we picking now? All right, let's pick our month, right? We have the month listed. Let me return to our table for now so that we can see it. It's loading. Just wait for it to load. All right. Is my screen still showing?
It's no longer showing.
It's no longer showing.
All right. Let me share.
Okay, it's showing now.
All right. Thank you. So, I have the months, right? And I'm coming to the months to do to the name. Now, to the name, I'm going to do counts. I should count the name, right? Right. So it means now in January, we employed 111 people. In February, we employed 106 people. In March, and like that. And the number continues like that, right? So after that, Then I did that on the table visual so that I can do the adjustment, right? Change, the name from what it was before to count so that I can have it in numbers. Now that I've done that, I can now go ahead to pick my card and my line chart. And at the end of the day, I have my line chart in there, right? And then I can now find a place to place that particular, that particular analysis. Maybe I want to place it somewhere here, right? All right, let's just stop it somewhere here. And let's do one more thing, and then we'll go ahead to format it, right? Let's do one more thing. So let's see now that we want to know. Let's look at salary we pay out in quarters, right? Let's look at salary that we pay out in quarters. So I'm just going to check my salary, right? And see how we are paying in each quarter. So salary and quarter, right? Now, if you look at quarter, like I said, quarter has 4 parameters, Q1, Q3, Q4, right? Now, if the parameters of interest are not many like that, one of the charts that is very common to use is the donut chart, right? Either the pie chart or the donut chart. There are some other ones in that list, right, that we're going to talk about. Maybe if we still have time to talk, to really dedicate a class, a session to discussing how to select a visual, right? We'll discuss them. What are the things? When do we use this? Why do we use all of this, in these areas? But for now, let me pick, let's pick the pie chart, and I'm going to have my pie charts, shown in this place, right? And then here's my pie chart. All right. So I'm going to stay here like that. Don't forget that the interest is to design the dashboard, right? So I have listed out my visuals, what I want to analyze. These are the insights that I want to get, maybe just 4 of them. Now let's go ahead to format them. So for example, now let me start with this card, with this pie chart that I have, right? It is selected. You can see it is selected. And then we come to this area, like I said earlier, we come to this format of visual to format it. So and then you can see we have the visuals here. When we're using the card visual, right? Under this visual, we have 2 things: the colored value and the colored value and the category label, right? But for the pie chart, it's quite different. So that's why I said that what you will have on this formatting area depends on the chart that you're using. Now, I want to know whether to use my legend or to take my legend away. What do we call legend? These stuff here are called the legend, right? And the legend will help us to know don't forget that pie chart, represents the information in so many ways, by numbers, change in numbers, by difference in color, right? So if I have the legend here, the legend will help me to know that this color blue is representing this, color red, or this color is representing another thing. So it's not always fine to uncheck or to take your legend out of your pie chart or donut chart. So I always advise that we keep the legend still intact, right? So detail label. Let's look at the detail label. Detail label is all this information. It is the label on each of the fraction of that circle, right? How do we want to position it, right? I'm under the detail label. How do you want to position it? Do you want to position it inside, or before we even look at the position, let's look at label content. What do we want to show? At the moment, it is showing the amount and the percentage, right? So data value and percentage. So I want to restrict it to only percentage of total. So I'm just going to pick percentage of total so that I can have only percentage. Now I can now come to position. Whether I want to position it, should it be inside? If I click inside, it will find its way inside, inside the what do you call it? Inside the fractions. Then maybe I'm good in that way. I can leave it that way. And let me return to legend and find a way to reposition our legend, right? So position of the legend, I can, at the moment, is on center right. That's why I have it here. But my interest is I want to make the circle be a bit bigger. So some information, I can rearrange some information so that in a way that will permit the circle to be bigger. So let me see if I put it on top left, or let me put it center left. No, bottom left, bottom center. If I choose bottom center, it is like this. So maybe yes, it is not bigger. Okay, it is not bigger yet. Let me still see what I can do. Let's stop here for now. Let's look at the value. Is it well visible here? It's not really well visible. So I can change my value. I've been using category and Cambria math. I make okay. I change that to 10, and then should I make it bold? Right. If I make it bold, I will have that, and maybe I make it italic. But I want my circle to be big. So let's do. So let's go to the general label and go to property. Right. Can I make it big here? Padding. Okay. If I bring it here like this, it's not obviously not still big, right? Effects, right? Okay, let's go ahead. So let's look at the color. The background color is currently on white, and let's say another thing I can make it. Let me make it the blue we've been using. Okay, we have this blue as the background color, right? Let me return to the visuals to correct all that things so that it can come out better, right? So let me make the slicer, the Q1. Am I good with that color? Q2.
Oh, you can't see your screen again.
You can't see my screen
Can't see
again.
it
Sorry.
again. Just disappeared.
Okay. Please confirm that it's showing if you can see it.
It's back. It's back now.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, so I have my Q2. Let me keep this color for my Q2. Let me keep this color. All right, for my Q3 and for my Q4. My Q4. Let me look for another color. It's quite different to that. Right? That's quite different to that one we have at the moment. So still, it looks so much like that. Okay. All right. So I have that color on my slicer. All right. Detail, label. What else? All right. Let me give a shadow. I don't think this white background is actually looking well. I mean, that background, I don't think it's looking well. Okay. All right. The title bar, the title are all these stuff here, right? I can also format the title, and then let's look at the title background. Where's background? At the moment, it has no background, so I can give it background. Let me make it this background, and the text color. Maybe I come to give it white so that it shows better. All right. And then what do I want the title to show? Sum of salary by quarter. So maybe I want to change it from sum of salary to salary by quarter, right? I'm good with that, right? What's the font that I want to use? I've been using Cambria Maths, so I'll still keep at it. The size, let me leave it on there. on this 18. Okay, let me leave it on 18. And then what else do I want to do? Let me bring it to the center. All right. And then what else? What else? What else? Divider. Okay. So let me leave that in that regard for now. I'm sure I'll still come back to work on it because it's quite small. I'm not seeing what is there. But then let's format another thing. Right. So now I want to format the line chart. And then, of course, after selecting it, I come to this area. And then let's first of all go to the color to the background, go to general effects, and then what is the background that we want to keep, right? We have this blue background, so let's keep at that. I have the blue background, and then that is fine. We'll have that. The title bar, let's come to the title bar, and then the title bar has a background. We've been using this blue for the background, right? And the font color, we've been using white, right? The text, we are using Cambria Math, and the font size, we are using 18, right? At the same time, the alignment, we have it right to the center, count of name by month, right? And then let's change the name, the title to that count of name does not really justify. Maybe number of employee by month. This looks better, right? And then all right, what else? So let's come to the visuals and see what we can do on the visual. There's grid line in it. Does it have grid line? Grid line. There's a grid line somewhere here that is having the same color with that is not showing. But then I really don't want the grid line, right? So I've taken the grid line off. So I have a plain background, right? What else? The lines. Yes, the lines is this line itself, and that blue is not really showing well. Let me see if I can have another color to make it. Where's the color? Here is the color of that blue line. So I'm going to make it our blue, right, which is more pronounced, right? What else? That green line, I can decide what kind of line is it. Is it a solid line or a dashed line, right? I can make it a dashed line if that's what I want, right? I can make it a dotted line, right? But then I think I still prefer it to be a solid line that it was before, right? And then how should it look like? Join type. I can make it a round. If I make it round, it's not round at the moment, so I can make, if I make it bevel, for example, okay, it's not really showing well, but then bevel will make it more, it will not be sharp. The cuttings will not be sharp, right? The cuttings here, how this cut will not be very sharp on bevel or on round, unlike if it is meter, right? So the difference is not really showing here right now, but then maybe if you, okay, let me focus it. Let me focus on this. And now that I focus on it, let's see. If I put on bevel, okay, the difference is not so showing anyway. Let me return it to round. Right. So all right, let's look at this font. It's not showing well, obviously. So let's go and change it to this kind of blue that is more deeper so that it can appear better under this other blue and sky blue background. Right. So that will be done here. That is, you know, we have x-axis and y-axis. This is x-axis, so I can come to x-axis and adjust the visuals, right? I can make that color be that blue, right? I can see it's showing better now. I can, the fonts, maybe I make it 10. 10 is also better, or 11. Let's say 12. All right, let's stay on 12. Our fonts, I want to maintain my Cambria Math for the fonts, and I'm good like that, right? All right, so that is x-axis, and to the y-axis to do same thing, right? So usually when formatting your dashboard, it is on this. When designing a dashboard, you spend more time on. You always spend more time on the formatting area because it's design. That's what you're doing. It's just like somebody give you a design job, a graphic design job. You are designing, so you spend more time on designing. It is not hard to pick your visuals, and I've shown you how to pick a visual. Just come to this area, right? I know you're not seeing my screen again.
Yes, we are not seeing it again.
Yeah, I think I can notice it here now. Right.
I can't see your screen.
Yes, sir. It should be showing by now.
Yes, showing now.
All right, sir. So all right, sir. So what was I explaining? So for the y-axis, yes, I'm still going to do the same thing, right? The value on the y-axis will be changed to we did 12. We change the color to this blue, right? And we are keeping Cambria Maths as my font, right? And it is adjusting the right. And then I think I'm good with that. For the y-axis, nothing much for now, at least for this particular one. Grid line, does it have grid line? Do we want grid line? So it's actually off. So I really want to keep this very first one simple. There are not much things to do. So let me keep it at that. And we have that and that and that. Just let's keep it that way. All right. Then let's format these. Let's format the table. All right. I will come to the format bar, and then let's go and work on the color on the background first. It's on general. So let's go to white and change the white to the blue we are using. Right, that's the background. Right. And then what other thing? So this will have more attention. Let's look at the header. It was off before I put it on. That's the title. And now what title do you want to give it? Maybe okay, it actually does not really need title, but then let's give it a title so that we can have it looks like the other ones. So let's give the title department counts. Let's just call it department counts. Or number of employees in departments, number of employees in departments. All right. All right. So you can see it's showing the title in that area. So let's give it a background. The background is not there before. So I'm going to give it that blue. Then the text color, we are using white, right? And then white. Then alignment, make it to the center. What else did we do? The font, we are using Cambria Maths. Just let me know if you can see my screen. It's like it's changing now.
It has gone. Can't see it again.
The screen.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. We
It's
can see
black.
it.
All right. All right. What was I doing? Okay, the fonts, Cambria Maths. All right. And then, all right. So I can leave this for now, at least for now. Now there are more things to do with on this table. And you can see that the background is different from what you have here. So let's see what other thing can we do, right? Let me come to this visual first and look at the grid. So let's see, it has grid color, right? Let's change the grid color. Let me put it to blue. Let's see what happens. Okay, so you can see it has green line, and I've changed the color to that kind of blue that we are using as our background, which is here. You can see it's reflecting here, right? And the width of it, if you want that line, this blue line to be thicker, you can increase it, you know. So it's more thicker. It's somehow thicker now, but then this is too thick. So I'm going to reduce it. I just want to show you that that can be done. I can reduce it to maybe 1. Yeah, I'm good with the 1. And that is the horizontal green line. Let's look at the vertical green line. It's off at the moment, so let's on it and let's make it that same view so we can see it changing. But you can see it as the vertical green line, and then all right. So that is for the grid. The column header, or let's see the specific columns. So we can format the specific column also. So this is a column. This is another column. There's a column for department. There's a column for count. In the table is known by its columns, right? So the first column is there's a column for department, right? Let's see, what do you want to give it? Give the value a color, or the background a color. Yes, I want to give the background a color. No, I'm not giving the background the color. So let's keep it on that color, right? So nothing should change. So I'm not doing anything on column. Column should be the way it is, right? But then there are other things that I want to look at. Let's say column header, no totals. Right? We have this area called totals here. Can you see? So we can also format that area separately, right? So all of these things is when you are using them, just play around with them, right? But then we have this video to guide you onto where you can go to, right? So that by the time you're now working around them, just play around with this formatting. Your key area in Power BI is the ability to format, right? So the text color, let's make it that blue. You can see that that area should change to that blue. Sorry, the text color, no, not that blue, not blue. The background color is what I want to change to that blue, right? Yes, and change the text color to white, right? I have it that way, and then I think I'm good that way. It's total. Let me make it bigger, and then let me keep my Cambria math, the font that I'm using. All right, I don't want to make it bold, right? So, all right. So what else should I do with that? I think I'm good with that total. And then a specific column, no, specific column, okay. I want to make this department and the count be more different so that it's different from these other ones, right? So let me see how I can do that. Maybe still on specific column, departments, okay. Maybe nothing much for now. Cell elements, let's see cell elements. Font color, okay. Nothing much here for now. All right. So let's go to general. So on general, I want to give it shadow. Let me on shadow for it, and then shadow should be outside this one, right? Now, you can see it's having shadow. I'm giving it shadow so it will have shadow. So let me reduce this particular one so you can see the outside area. So shadow is giving it this shadow look, right? And I'm still going to give every other one shadow anyway. So all right, shadow color is good that way, and then visual border. Visual border is the line on that chart, right? So I want to give it that visual border. Let me make it blue, still that blue that we are using, right? So that it's more thicker. But then visual border is right here. So the visual border is black. Obviously, I don't want black. Black is not my color. I'll keep it in that blue, right? And then maybe I should give it a round corner of 5, right? And the width of that border, okay, that's good on one pixel, right? So I can stop that way. I think this is fair. I can go to these column charts and let's format that as well. So we are intentionally keeping it on just 3-4 insights. Obviously, the next task we'll do, there are more things to do. We'll do some calculation also. We'll see how to calculate, and something like you are using function in Excel. That function in Excel, right? In Power BI, we call it DAX. DAX is DAX, and it's an acronym for data analysis expression, DAX, right? So we'll see how to do it in our next task. But then we just want to keep this very first one not to be too cumbersome. So we'll leave it that way. So let's format these card visuals. I mean these column charts, right? The first thing I always do is the background, and then the background cannot be white. We're using that particular blue. So I pick that blue, right? I'm using that blue, right? I'm using visual border, right? And the visual border is this view, right? I'm using round corner 5, right? And then I think on the effects, that is fine for now. So let's go to the, okay, sorry, before that, the title, right? The title, um, the background, I'm using that blue. This royal, is it royal blue? Yes, that deep blue. And the text, I'm using white, right? Also the text, okay, I'm using Cambria Maths, right? And then I think I'm making it bigger. I think I used 19 for this other ones. 18, all right. And then I put it to center. Alignment, horizontal alignment to center, right? All right. That is that. Let me go to the visuals and do my grid line. Of course, I don't want to use grid line, so I'm gonna put it off, right? Columns. So this thing is column. If we are using a bar chart, we could call it bar, but now it's a column chart, so it's calling it column. Right? I want to go and change the color of that column and make it this blue so that you can show better. All right. So what else? What else? What else? So I'm going to change the text here so that it can be a bit visible. Right, starting from the x-axis, right? The color to this blue, right? The text to Cambria Maths, and the text size. I think I've been using 12 for that area, right? And you can see this case has been adjusted, right? That is that. And for the y-axis, I'm going to do the same thing, right? Like I said, you spend more time trying to format your visuals. That is why it is. You are the one who know how you want it to look like. So you can play around it, do something that works. If at the end of the day you don't like it, come and change it to what you like, right? Just ensure that at the end of the day you have a visual, you have a dashboard that people want to read. All right. So we are keeping it simple, right? So nothing much. So I'm just going to stop on that for now. So next thing is to make sure they both align these two things, right? And then also this also, let me bring it down, and then this also. Then we bring it here, right, and then this here. All right, this to connect with this, and then this to connect with this. All right. All right. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep it this way for this for now. And also on these keep it to that color, right? I'm gonna keep it to that color. And then what else? Yeah, I think I'm good with that. That's the only thing that I may want to do there. And then maybe I can underline this. Then let it be this way. All right. So this is my report. Okay, the next thing is like I can also want to do here is to bring it to this, let it align with these ones and maybe increase it on this side. Increase it on this side. Sorry, I know my screen will go off now. My system is doing the way it's doing.
It has gone.
It's gone, right?
Yes.
All right, please, I'll connect us back. All right, so let me connect us back. Still with us?
Back up.
Is it showing?
It's back.
Yes, it's showing now.
It's back. All right. All right. So the last thing
Yes. Yes.
I'm going in when we're doing Excel, when we're drawing this dashboard on Excel, I showed us how to do the slicer. But for now, for this one, the slicer is just direct, right? So what do I want to put on slicer? I'll decide what I want to put on slicer. Maybe I want to don't forget slicer is used to filter, right? So let's say I just want to see the information about each department, and I want to do that, right? And we have 13 departments. I hope you remember. So I'm just going to say sure that I click the empty. I'm not selecting any visual from the existing one. So I click this empty canvas to be neutral. Then I will come to the department, select the department, right? Okay, I've selected department. Then slicer is one of the visuals in this case. I'm just going to look for the slicer. And here is the slicer. It looks like it has that funnel. Don't forget that slicer is filter. Anything you see something that looks like funnel in analysis is like, it's talking about filtering, right? So I'm going to select, I've selected the slicer. This is the slicer here. It's loading, right? Our time is fast spent, right? I'm wrapping up already for this particular task. So I'm going to give us a task to be busy with in the weekend, right? We'll submit. Please, my SQL assignments, just few persons have submitted, about just 2 people. Please, let's try to do it. Even if we are off SQL, please submit. The people that submitted, now they didn't get all of them at the same time in just one approach. But then we have some behind class discussion where I have to put them through. And I think it's very important for us to do it also, so that if we are off the line, I can show you that, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you didn't do very well. So this is my slicer, right? I want to put my slicer around there, but then I don't want it to cover what I'm doing. So it means I'm going to filter that slicer. So you can filter the slicer. So let's come here to slicer setting, right? It's on vertical list. That's why it's showing it in form of this. So I can change it to maybe to something like a drop down. If I select a drop down now, here, so I can come it, right? And it's a drop all at the moment, right? Arrow to show at the drop down what I want to pick. You understand? But then keep on formatting it, right? I have done down because of the area that I want to put. I want it to cover all these things. So let me just put it here, and then values. So the font is Cambria Math. That's what I've been using. And then let me make this 14. All right, you can see it's bigger. And then the font color, right? The font color, the font background, the background will determine the color. So let me come and work on the background. And background is a general. Come to effects, and the background color. What I've been using is that blue. Yes, so I have that blue. Let me. We have visual border. I'm using visual border. I'm using the border to be that blue as well, right? And then I give it shadow, all right? And then, all right, it looks like this. I did rounded corner. I've been doing 5, but then let me just look at this over time. All right, so all right, so I can come back to, let's look at title. Title is off, right? So I don't really need title for now. So come back to this font color. If our normal blue is fine. Background. The background is, it has no background here, but then I can go and pick, and I can select our blue. Fine. So let me go back to that color and pick one color to pick white. Have our white in there, right, which is fantastic now, right? And then all right. What else? So I think I can leave it this way. Yeah, I can leave it this way, and I have my slicer here. So what this means is that, so this is my dashboard, right? So let's talk A because of our time. So we have designed a dashboard. So dashboard makes us be able, to even though I feel like working on this pie chart, but then let's leave it as it is. So dashboard is now showing this is the analysis. This is how our data looks like. So with this slider, if I want to focus more on the people in the accounting department or in the human resource department, I can just come here and then pick human resource, right? I have selected it, and you see that all the information are changing to, are changing to that human resource. So with that human resource, I can see that, oh, the total salary paid to the people in human resource is 5.9 million naira every month. There are 74 people in that human resource. Of course, it's just one department, right, that I selected. And of course, there are 3 genders in that department also. So if I want to take it together with if I want to pick legal, I can come here to pick legal, and I can see that there are 82 people, 82 employees in legal department. The total salary we are paying them is 6.43 million, maybe naira of the currency. You understand? And you can see that it has reduced the information here also to legal. So I have legal, right? I have legal in there, right? And then I think here we are supposed to choose select. So let's come back here. Here we are supposed to do count distance, not count at that area where we did that. So let me return to this place, and we can change that to count distance, right? Should we count distance? All right, so you can see that number of employees is now connecting well. This is 82, and that is 82, right? So if you want to move away from that selection, it's simple. Just select that ledger again, and to return to all, and we can see the information for all of them. And of course, we can now pick each of them one after the other if you need to analyze. I mean, if you need to present. But then this is how to design the dashboard. Who in the course of this class, we'll talk about the last part of the last data analysis process is storytelling. You understand? Storytelling. So ideally for this class, if we have had enough time for this class, right? When I say enough time, I do not mean in terms of number of days that we use, but enough hour. Usually, this class, like I've explained before, this class is supposed to take one of the class one day like this is supposed to take maybe 6 hours. So we have to do that 12 hours every week. But we've been doing 3 days and 2 days, which is not. So if you have had enough time, so would have I would have given enough time for each of us, to present some of this stuff. But then I'm sure that we'll also get it by the way we are doing it. So storytelling is the last part of the class, and it's a time where you can now design the dashboard like this and come and present your insights, from the dashboard. For example, now if I'm to do this now, I've created this dashboard and I'm going to present with this dashboard, so I can begin to talk, open my speech and begin to refer people quickly to this quick insight with this card visual, right? And I begin to explain what happened, number of employees how we employ people, how we onboard people into the departments, and say that in January, we have this and this. I can go to the focus mode to make it bigger so that you can see it. So in January, we have we have 111 people coming to the organization. In February, 106 people, and we can see the trend, how it goes, right? So it means at the beginning of the year, right, when the company started, in that year, we were employing more people. But as we go down the year, right, we were seeing that it looks like we're getting satisfied with the people we're employing, and then when we get to December, we just employed 49 people. So the trend, you can see the trend. Like I said, line chart helps you to looking at the figure, right? You can see the trend and say, okay, how we employ people decreases as to move down the month. You understand? That's one of the advantages of using the line chart. And you understand? And I said, where you can use the line chart, you can as well use the area chart. The area chart is very similar to line chart. You can see it's still like the same thing, just that it have an area. So you can see it's going to give you a shape at the end of the day, and that shape can give some other more important insights, right, to what we are doing. You understand? So this is our dashboard that we have designed in this first class. We do the same thing. So I'm not going to give any task, right? So that's true. I'm not going to give any task. So the same data sample that we are using, just go ahead to see this video when I post this data today or very early tomorrow, and then try to replicate your own dashboard, right? Try to design your own dashboard using a Power BI. We are not using the Excel this time around. We are using the Power BI. And the things that you want to put into consideration when designing dashboard, right, are the use of fonts, the mix of colors, right? The mix of colors, and then lastly, the how you navigate through, your format, your visual formatting. You understand how you're able to navigate through them. And the knowledge of this thing becomes part of you more if you stay with it, if you do more projects, if you just play around it. That is, there's no two way about that. Just keep clicking the buttons, keep playing with them. You understand? So it's something that you need to create time for to say, okay, I want to spend these 3 hours to just play with this analysis. So you keep, clicking all of these buttons and trying to see what this means, what this means, what this means. If there's anything you are not really getting the meaning, please text me on WhatsApp to call my attention to it. I can quickly explain it to say, okay, this particular button is trying to explain this. If you want to do this, this will help you to do that, right? So I hope you understand the class. Design is the way you want to design it, right? Another person will do his own and will not arrange this card visual there, right? Obviously, the next one we're going to do is going to take a new shape entirely, right? And that particular one, the next assignment, I've shared data with us already for those that started the class with us, right? It is more detailed. The next task that we are going to do in the next class is more detailed, and we are going to be doing some important thing also. Please, I want to encourage us to join that class. It's going to be 2 hours, but then I hope that we do not have the delay that we have. I also do take all measures from my hand to ensure that the delay is not old. Right? I would have prepared so many things and so many alternatives that will keep us running. Right. So this is the end of our class for this fourth Power BI class, running through the interface using the visuals and formatting the visual. Right. Any question? So I've been the one talking all through the class, right? It's just for you to see. I know that the video will help you to go and practice at home. But then to this point that we are, any question? Is anybody talking?
Sir, can you hear me?
Are we together? Nobody is talking.
Hello, sir.
Someone is talking.
Someone is talking.
Can you hear me, sir?
Are people in the class?
I can hear you. I don't know, maybe you can hear you, but I can hear
Okay,
you.
okay. I can hear you now.
Ask, is there any possible, this thing requires practice and practice. I want to ask, is there any possible way that we can, because I know there's a particular AI that can actually bring in data that we can use for this kind of stuff to practice.
Please, we're saying something before. Please recap. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
All right. So let me hear you. What are you saying?
No, I'm just saying, like, is there? I'm trying to ask, like, is there any, like, I know there's a particular AI that can help us generate data that we can use to practice for things like this.
All right. So thank you. I think I can still talk about that. So
Like,
I'm going to share enough data with us. I'm just taking it step by step. This particular data we are using, I've shared it with us, right? We still have more data to work with in this class. That is one. Then two, can you hear me?
yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Two, there are some specific sites where you can just get into to get data, as many data as possible to practice with. For example, now I'm sharing my browser. Are you seeing my browser? Are you seeing my
Yes,
browser?
sir.
Yes, we can.
So you can come to
Yes.
cargo.com. There's a site called cargo.com. Cargo.com. Can you see the spelling of that cargo? Kaggle. Now they come to cargo.com. Cargo is an area where you have data in their thousands, and the data you have in Kaggle, they are real life data. These are data that people have some researchers have gone to generate it, and they have come to drop it here so that people and so that data analysts can see stuff to work with, right? You need to register yourself into the area, you register, and then it will give you username and all of that. So after you have done that, you can always have access to so many things. So if you come to this area, you can see this is my own page, Olamide Maxwell. So if you come to this data set, you have access to many data sets that you can practice with, right? So let me come to this data sets, right? And they are real life data sets, right? You can see this is a data set on, of course, you can pick any topic. This is COVID-19 radiography database, right? If you click this thing, you have access to so many data sets on, radiography on some COVID-19 activities that you can go ahead to analyze, right? Cigarette and alcohol addiction, right? We have data that people have generated on people that takes too much alcohol, right? You can collect data and analyze, right? They are real life data. You can have some other ones on health, right? You can have some other ones on software, some other data on food, and all sections. So you can play around cargo, register, and then come and pick data sets as many as possible. Some, I think a lot of them are free, right? Many of them are free, about 80% of it are free. But then there are some of them that are premium. And then if you need them, you can pay for them. But over 80% are free. I've never paid for data set here before, right? So I come here to pick data to practice. And another area is called learning container, right? Learningcontainer.com, right? This learningcontainer.com is particularly important if you need data set in SQL. You can get data, you can get files on all languages, right? Or any area that you want to work, be it Python, be it JavaScript, be it CSS. You can get projects here, right? There are projects here to work in here for free, right? For example, now look at these are files data. This is samples data. Files data. Excel fall under files data, right? Okay. And look at you can if I need Excel data, sample data, I'll come to Excel. If I need SQL sample data, right? SQL is somewhere here, right? Where is SQL? Okay. If I need JavaScript, JSON is JavaScript, right? SQL, this is SQL, PHP, HTML, JavaScript also anyway. So if I need SQL, if I click on SQL, right? If I click on SQL and then scroll down, you will see enough SQL data that you can take import to your SQL and go and query. You can see enough of them. Okay, you can download them, download them, download them. This is just 50 record. This is 100 record. You know, so you can keep searching for more. There are a lot of them, right? All right. This work with MySQL. What we are using is MySQL. That workbench is MySQL. There is PostgreSQL also. To read it very well and be sure that you are downloading this for Oracle, right? But then this is MySQL. So there are places where you can pick data to practice, and I've just shown you two of them. There are more actually. All right. I hope I answered that particular question.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. All right. You're welcome. Any other question before we call it today? Any other questions?
Hi,
I
sir.
know that. Yes, sir. Let me hear you.
Lisa, I wanted to ask if the class is recorded.
Yes, it's recorded. So it's recorded. I'm going to
Okay.
share with us. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. It is recorded. All right. So this is a
Okay.
first dashboard I've created. Please go ahead to practice. Go ahead to do something with it. Don't mind me. It is me. I just feel like doing something here again. So I'm gonna stop here. Just on the edit
Sorry.
area. Okay. Let me hear you.
Sorry, I was a bit lost in that area where you imported the data to the table.
Yeah, so it's simple. Go to get data, right? And it will take you to your system. Of course, you pick from if you ask you get data, where do you want to get data? Is it from SQL or is it from Excel? So look at the list, and of course, it's an Excel data you want to get. So you click Excel, and it take you to your system. You pick your data set from it. We are using the data sample. That's what we are using, right? If you don't have it, I will share it at the end of the class again, right? But then I already shared it about 2 times with everybody, right? That's the data we just used here, right? I'm going to share another data with us before the next class. So you are expected to practice with that data sample against the next class. But I'm going to share another data with us that we're going to use in the next class so that if you have enough time, you can practice that and be prepared for the class, right? But if you get to the class, we're going to work on it. For that particular one, I'm going to list out the insights that I want to get from it. I will list it out so that we can be well prepared. You understand? Unlike this one, I'm just thinking about it here on the screen. Right? I'll list it out, I'll prepare it so that we know what we are looking for. So I'll share the data sample with them, but then that's how to get the data. All right. So I actually want to do something here. Effect. I want to change this to okay. I want to on the visual border, and then on the visual border, I want to make the border the let me give it this gold color, and then rounded corner, let's say 8, and then the width maybe 2 or 3, right? And go ahead to make the effect be this blue so that that place will be different, and then go to come back to this place and make it white, because as I'm adding, I want it to be different, right? And make this place white. All right, that's what I want to do. I still want it to be bold, so I can stop here. All right, so this is what I want to achieve at the end of the day. All right, so this is our dashboard that I have created. And uh, on this note, in the absence of any question, let us call it.
Sorry, one last question. One last question.
All right,
sorry.
All right, sir.
Is there any way to undo when you do something
Yes,
and you want
there's
to go back
undo.
to?
Unlike Power Query Editor, here you can undo. You can see a Control Z works A. Control Z works
Okay.
A, and you can see up here that this arrow is undo. So if you can undo here,
Okay.
it's only on Power
Okay.
Query Editor that you cannot. All right. Okay.
All right. Thank you very
So
much.
thank you for your patience. I know the class, we at the end of the day we had 2 hours for the class, and it's fine. We are able to complete a dashboard, right? And please just go ahead, just bear with me. Just to itemize to say again that Power BI is more stronger. So if you want to work, if your system is not very strong and you want to use a Power BI, right? I would always advise that you make sure that you do not launch anything on your system so that it's not going to disturb the flow of your Power BI, except you have a very strong system, something like that the capacity is 1 terabyte or thereabouts, will be fine, will work perfectly for Power BI. But if it is not up to 1 terabyte, if they are using it, is try not to open too many files in the system. Try not to open too many softwares on your system so that you don't have issues that we are having right at the moment. Thank you very much. We'll see on Thursday. I hope that we end the class on Sunday. In fact, we are ending the class on Sunday. That is not I hope we are ending the class on Sunday. So I want us to note that. So which means that on Friday we'll try to work on one particular project, and we'll talk about so many things that you need to know about Power BI, so that when we come on Sunday we can retouch it, do one more example, and have a project with us, and we can end the class. So on Sunday also, right? There's still one more thing that I said I'm going to teach. So we decide on creating a time for it on Sunday. But the class on data analysis will end on Sunday. But to create portfolio that I also want to show us, which is very important, we'll now decide where we want to have it. Because I already feel that we are feeling that we have. I mean, I'm already feeling that the class is getting too long because of the responses we are getting in the later time. But then after the Sunday, we can find a time to discuss the portfolio. All right, thank you, everyone. You can go and practice and rest. So on this note, we can call it a day. Good night.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you very
sir.
much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.